Swami Sarvalokananda Ji Maharaj and Swami Mokshavardhananda Ji Maharaj.
Exploring human brain is an interesting activity, and to bring out the secrets of emotion, feelings and thoughts, today we have an eminent speaker, Swami Narasimhananda Ji, who will be deliberating on the topic exploring human brain. I welcome on stage Swami Narasimhananda Ji.
സ്വാമി നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ പ്രകൃതിയുടെ അത്ഭുതമായ ബ്രെയിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയാനായി നമ്മുടെ നരസിംഹാനന്ദ സ്വാമിജി.
Hello, I offer my pranams to Swami Sarvalokananda Ji Maharaj and the other monks present here, and also my pranams to Mokshavardhananda Ji Maharaj, who has kindly invited me here, not only for this session, but also for comparing this event as you saw earlier this day. So I requested Maharaj, I have been working not formally of course, but informally at a very deep level on neuroscience for more than 25 years. So I have been doing these presentations across the country. So I requested Maharaj that if I could address our students here, we have, as you know, School of Nursing, College of Nursing and Paramedical Institute. So Maharaj kindly agreed. Not only that, he made it a program on this auspicious day, which is the day of inauguration of Sarada College of Nursing, this building of Sarada College of Nursing. And this importance of this session has been increased by the presence of revered Swami Sarvalokananda Ji Maharaj, who headed our hospital. Maharaj, how many bedded? 600 bedded. 600 bedded hospital. Maharaj increased many beds, 200 beds you increased. After more than 200 beds after he took over, 600 bedded hospital with the state of art technology, and it also has Vivekananda Institute of Medical Sciences, and Maharaj used to regularly organize conferences on various topics. So it is in his presence that I will try to this is a idea I want to give particularly to the students. Can you hear me, students? Give me a cheer. Say hi, hello, something. Or was the food too heavy? No. More sound. Say hi. Hi. Sound is very less. More. Hello. Audio level should increase. Hello. Little more. Do you know how to pack clothes when you're traveling? Does anybody know what is the best method to pack clothes when you're traveling? Anybody? Do you know? You're suddenly surprised. Now he was talking about brain, suddenly has gone to clothes. Do you know anybody? The best method to pack clothes when you're traveling is to roll your clothes. So it will occupy the less space. Our brain acts like that. Our brain is you can see the picture of this brain. It's all squeezed. So I have brought an actual brain. Okay. Unfortunately, I could not get a good specimen. So this specimen which I have brought is probably of a person who had some injury on the brain. So this is brain. Please focus on this. Some formalin is falling down. This is a brain. This is not your brain, brain of a person. You can see there is some damage here. probably there was some accident. Can you see this? This damaged part? Yeah, there was probably some accident. This is your brain. Look how innocent it looks. It looks very innocent. But this is the organ of human being. Little more up. Yeah, little go behind. Back, back. No, behind, not zoom in, zoom out. Yeah. So this organ is the only organ of human body which keeps on changing till you die. This is the only organ. So you can see there are some ridges or cavities. You can see this. These are called sulci. There is a depth depression that is called sulci. Sulcus 1, plural sulci. And then you see there is something above like this. They are called gyri or gyrus. Singular gyrus and plural gyri. Now here you can see this. There is a gap here. The covering has not been completely removed. Can you see the gap here? Students, can you see this gap? This gap? Huh? This gap, can you see it on the screen? This is called the longitudinal fissure. So this is the front part, somewhere here. This is the part that is called the frontal cortex. So your brain will be like this. And if you see the brain like that, this is the bottom side of the brain. Yeah. So these two things are called cerebellum. Can you see it? Can you see it on the screen? Yes or no? These two parts are called the cerebellum, and here is something which is called PONS, pons. And this whole part, other than the cerebellum, this whole part is called the cerebrum. Cerebrum. And this is your right lobe, LOBE, and this is the left lobe. Generally, the actions of the left side of our body are controlled by the right lobe. I say generally because there are exceptions. Then the actions of the right side of our body are controlled by the left lobe. Now, neuroscience is a fascinating field. The doors of this field were opened to me by my guru, Swami Ranganathanandaji, who was born in Trikkur, Thrissur district, Kerala. I joined the Ramakrishna order in Ramakrishna Mutt, Chennai, and there I had the fortune of translating a book by Swami Ranganathananda called Neurology and What Lies Beyond. I translated it into Tamil. Neither of these languages are my mother tongue. So there, this whole fascinating world was open to me. And there, I understood that whatever happens to us happens because of this brain. If you walk, if you talk, if you think, if you do anything which takes you from one status to the other, it is because of the brain. And that neuroscience is a fascinating field. Can you hear me? Say hi again. Because the food was very heavy, I just want to ensure that you're not sleeping. Hello? Little more louder. So, do you see a complicated organ in this? Does it look like a complicated organ? Yes or no? It does not look like a complicated organ. It looks very innocent, but it is a complicated organ. So that is nature's beauty. There are many things in this. Now I will stop showing you the real brain, which I have carried from all the way from Kozhikode. We could not get a brain in Thiruvananthapuram. So I carried it all the way from Kozhikode. I am thankful to Malabar Medical College, Ulliyeri, Kozhikode, for having given me this brain for this purpose. So anyway, we will come to my presentation, where I will try to give you an idea about the fascinating field of neuroscience. So let this brain go inside its bucket. So let us go to our, can all of you see this? Can all of you see this presentation? Yes or no? You can see it on the side screens also. Can someone please move the chair? Hello. Chair on the side like chair. So this is the human brain, as you saw a sample of the actual human brain. So whatever happens, whatever we think, we do, I'm standing here, I'm moving this, I'm moving a finger, I see a young man sitting here. The very fact that I see him sitting here, in school you might be taught that when we see a thing, an inverted image of that thing falls in our retina. Have you heard this? Learned it? Yes or no? You bunked the science class, is it? So when I see something, an inverted image falls on my retina, and that's how we see an image. I'm telling you one thing, that is the most simplest explanation. That is not what happens. A huge number of neurological processes happen, and that is when we see. So when I see this person, what's your name? Huh? Karthik. And if I can remember his name and see him and know him to be Karthik, that's a great neurological event happening. This happens all the time, and we don't consider the magnitude of that. So here, I will show you.
This is the right hemisphere of a human brain, one of hundreds of brains donated for medical research in the UK every year to one of 10 brain banks. Now, if I pick it up, intact, the human brain weighs around 3 pounds or 1.5 kilos. It makes up just 2% of the body's weight and yet consumes 20% of the body's energy. It contains 100 billion nerve cells or neurons. Each neuron has 10,000 connections, making a brain network of 1,000 trillion connections. Now that's more complex than any supercomputer. And yet the brain has an electrical output of just 20 watts, enough to power a very dim light bulb. You can see just how delicate and fragile it is. I'll just point out a couple of features. This is the frontal lobe, the command and control center of the brain, while this projection down here is the temporal lobe, involved in language, emotion, and memory. The brain is a masterpiece of evolution and biology. And yet, despite all our scientific knowledge, there's still a huge amount we don't know about how the brain works and why it sometimes goes wrong.
So as you saw in that video, our brain, though it consumes only 20% of the energy, produces only 20 watts. Here there are thousands of watts which are lighting up this stage. But even then, the brain has trillions of connections it can make. And that's a beauty. And it looks so innocent, so innocuous, and we don't know anything about it. See, the study of neuroscience, in the Western sense of the term, is quite recent. It all happened because of certain accidents, certain abnormal behaviors from some people. The one you can see, this person was called Phineas Gage. He was called Phineas Gage, and he was working in railways. And he had gone in a place to, are you hearing me? Yes? Say hello. So he went in a place to repair a railway track. And as part of his work, he had used dynamite. And when he was doing that, accidentally, this shaft, which he is holding in his hand, can you see a big black something? That's an iron rod. It came and it hit him here, as you can see in his skeleton. That is his skeleton. And it went from top of his skull. So the doctors could remove the rod. As you can see, he is Phineas Gage sitting with the rod in his hand, and his one eye is not functioning because of that accident. But there was not much change. He lived. But then doctors observed some neurological changes in this person. So this is the actual skull, which is preserved in the Warren Anatomical Museum, Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America. So it is then that this particular person, and that is a rod with near the skull, can you see there is a rod kept? That is the rod which caused the accident, and that has led to lot of research in understanding which part of the brain was affected and what it did bring in terms of change in the person's behavior. He started getting angry quickly. He had less self-regulation. He could not control his emotions, etc. So as I showed you, the brain has got many parts. This is a brain, you are seeing it from the below. So there is a frontal lobe on the front. This is somewhere here near your forehead. Then there is this lateral sulcus, temporo-occipital lobe. There is this pons. And then below, there is a connection to our spinal cord, which is the brain stem. And just before it, just above it, is what we call as medulla oblongata. You might be aware of this because it's quite popular in the popular literature, in the movies or in popular novels. And there are two places like this which are green there. They are called cerebellum. Now, in 1997, Vilayanur S. Ramachandran wrote a book, Phantom Limbs. How many of you have read the book? Anyone has read the book? No one. What are phantom limbs? Suppose somebody is working in a factory which has a very fast cutting equipment, and that equipment, somehow this person's limbs, either hands or legs, are caught in that equipment and the limbs are cut. So they are cut so fast that the brain does not have time to process that my limb has been cut. And so the brain thinks that you have the limb. So people who have this problem, they can actually feel things with their hand which is not existing. They can actually move their hand which is not existing. So there are many experiments done, many observations. I will show you the observation of a cat. Please watch this video. The cat does not have its left leg. How many legs does a cat have? How many? How many? Who said 3? How many legs the cat has? 4. So this cat lost its front left leg, and see how it behaves. It has been given something to eat, and you see how it is behaving. Please watch the video carefully. Can you see the cat moving its front left leg? It is actually moving it. There is no leg. Can you see it? On the other side, when it was there on the other side, it was moving its front left leg. How many of you saw it? Did anyone see? I will play it again. Please see this. See, this is the video. See it carefully. The cat is moving. Now it is moving its left front leg. Did you see that? How many saw it? Raise your hands. Yeah. So that is a phenomenon of phantom limbs. There are no limbs, but the cat thinks that the limb is there. And that happens with human beings also. So it led to a big confusion. How do we know whether a limb is there? So as I told you, neuroscience is developing by observation, by observing patients who have some problems in their brain. So this is something called visual agnosia. That means there was this famous neuroscientist, his name was Oliver Sacks. Anyone has heard about Oliver Sacks? Anyone? Anybody senior also? Oliver Sacks, madam? Have you heard about Oliver Sacks? Dr. Oliver Sacks. He was a famous neuroscientist. One of the main experiments which did pertain to visual agnosia. What is it? I was telling you in the beginning that I see Karthik and I remember his name, that this is Karthik. If I cannot do it properly, that might be because of visual agnosia. We will see a patient. He was named Mr. P. And Oliver Sacks wrote a book on this. And we will see that. The book was named, it is still available. If you are interested in neuroscience, please read this book. The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. So what happened? Mr. P, who was a doctor, doctor not as a medical doctor, but a PhD doctor. He was a musician, a teacher, and he had visual agnosia. So he came with his wife to talk about this condition to Oliver Sacks, who was a neuroscientist and a practicing neurologist. And when we came there, then after talking to Mr. Oliver Sacks, Dr. Oliver Sacks, he was about to leave. Now, what happens in those countries when you go into an office or a home? There is a coat hanger where you hang the coat, and there is a hat hanger or a cap hanger where you put the cap. So, Mr. P's, Dr. P's wife was sitting beside him, and he thought that her head was his hat. So when he was leaving, he started to pull her hair, thinking he's lifting the hat. He had completely forgotten. What was the problem with this patient? Suppose he was given, say, a remote control. He will look at it and then feel it and then guess that it is a remote control, because he had lost the ability to remember and retain the memory of shapes of people. He had lost identifying shapes, and that is a condition which can happen. Imagine how blessed we are, how fortunate we are that we have this. And this is Oliver Sacks talking something about visual agnosia. We will not see the entire video. That he calls face blindness.
Being social beings, we need to recognize each other. And we do so in all sorts of ways, by the way people move, the way they dress, their voices, where they are. But in particular, we are very good at recognizing each other's faces. Well, when I say we, I mean the majority of people. There are some people who are not so good at recognizing faces, and in extreme cases, people may not recognize their husband, their wife, their children, their oldest friends, and they are called face blind. They may see a face perfectly clearly, but it doesn't convey identity to them. And the technical term prosopagnosia, prosopon is the Greek for a face, and an agnosia is not recognizing. So the term prosopagnosia was introduced in 1944. Although one talks.
So that's one of the many neuroscientific diseases or ailments which has helped us to understand the brain better. So this is the cerebrum. This is the larger part of the brain, which has the left lobe and the right lobe. And below is the cerebellum. What does the cerebrum does? It does all the higher brain functions. We are evolved people. Are you all evolved? Are you all human beings? Are you? You evolved from what? You evolved from what? What being? Zebra or monkeys? You evolved from what? Monkey, is it not? Hello? You all evolved from monkeys, because when we see some of you, we understand that you have evolved from monkeys. You just don't have the tails. So human being evolved from monkeys, and there is therefore two types of brain structure. One is called the frontal lobe or the lobe, or the mainly the cerebrum, and the other one is the limbic brain. Anger, thirst, hunger, sleep, all these things are stored in the limbic brain, which is called the primitive brain. And your ability to understand surgery, your ability to watch this presentation, your ability to compute, your ability to remember more things, they are all what is called in your cerebrum, or mainly in your frontal lobe interpretive cortex. So this is what, so this is cerebrum as we saw, and there is the sulcus and the gyrus. So this is the longitudinal
This
fissure.
line right here running down the center of the brain is called the longitudinal fissure.
So this is the longitudinal fissure I was talking about. Anybody knows what poster this is? Anybody? Why are you so silent? Give me a cheer. Hello? I'm really afraid you're going to fall asleep. I think some people are already asleep. Hello? Do raise your hands like this. All of you, all these people, and do like this. Yes. So beautiful to see. Yeah. How many of you can tell me what movie is this? It is written there. Can't you read? What movie is this? Can you read it now? Gajini, have you not seen this movie? You have not? What a pity. This movie was copied from this movie. That was Amir Khan Hindi movie. This is Surya in Tamil, Gajini. And this was also copied. We are good at copying from Christopher Nolan's movie called Memento. Now, why am I showing you this? Because this movie is based on a neuroscientific ailment called retrograde amnesia. Have you heard about this? Retrograde amnesia means what? So, this is based on the life of a person who is in neuroscientific literature called HM. What is he called? HM. Henry Gustav Molaison. He underwent a surgery to remove a tumor because he was facing epileptic problems. And one of the side effect of that surgery, always brain surgeries have side effects. That is because the brain is so subtle that we cannot operate any part of the brain without damaging some other part. So there was epilepsy, which was probably because of some childhood bicycle accident. And when this surgery was done, that had a side effect. And the side effect was that he could not remember anything new. Every day he had to write down whatever happened. So his memory stopped till before the surgery. So this is the actual brain of Henry Gustav Molaison, and his brain was sliced into 2,401 slices. How many slices? It is written there. How many slices? 2,401 slices, each about 0.07 millimeters thick, to study this, what happened to his brain. How did it achieve this condition? How did he get this ailment where he will forget everything? So if you have seen the movie, you will know that he writes things he wants to remember, phone number, etc., on his body. He has many diaries. He has many notepads where he writes things, etc. That is called retrograde amnesia. Now there is some other, I'm now talking about different kinds of ailments precisely because they help us understanding human brain. There is a very peculiar kind of ailment, neuroscientific problem, which is called synesthesia. Syn comes from synthesis, where you combine two things. And what does happen here? So this is the functional medical resonance imaging scan, functional MRI scan. On that side, on your left is the brain of a person who has synesthesia, and on the right side is the person who does not have it. So you can see that the firing of neurons is less in the person with this condition, a patient with this condition. So what is this? It is when you perceive a color, when you see, say, ochre color, girwa color, and you know that it is girwa. But when you see it, you know. But there can be a lot of synesthesia, many kinds of synesthesia. One is called grapheme color synesthesia. What happens there? Imagine you come across a patient where a person sees a letter, you know, language, A, B, C, D, A, E, or K, K, G, etc. He sees a letter or she sees a letter, but then in her brain, a color comes up. Are you listening to me? Hello, there. Somebody is talking there. Listen here. Suppose a patient looks at a letter or a number, but in the mind, a perception of color is formed. So you show the patient C, and she says, oh, I understand orange. There is no connection between C and orange, at least not as a letter. You show her 18, and she says, oh, I understand. It is all red. But there is no redness there. That is called grapheme color synesthesia. Then there is something called chromesthesia, where a person hears some sound and thinks it is a color. So immediately you say sir, and that person says violet, very good. Then there is something called, it is worst. A person reads a word, say word, and feels sweet taste. actually feels the taste of sweetness. Read some other word. The word is kind. Kindness can never be bitter, but for this patient, maybe the patient will feel a bitter taste, and that is lexical gustatory synesthesia. So again, there is a place in our orbitofrontal cortex. I'm sure most of you have heard that when you see somebody who is conventionally beautiful, your sense of judgment does not work. Have you heard this? Madam, have you heard this? If you see a person who is conventionally beautiful, your sense of judgment does not work. They say, oh, that person was beautiful, so she or he fooled you. Many people say this. Do you know that there is a neuroscientific basis for that? The place called orbitofrontal cortex in our brain is the place which decides aesthetics, which decides what beauty is. And it is the same place which decides moral perceptions, whether it is right or wrong. So if someone says, I fell in the beauty, it is actually, it might be true because neuroscientifically there is a basis for it. Now, wherever we go today in India, Punjab, Kerala, Maharashtra, particularly with the youth, we face a big problem called addiction. Is it not? Have you heard the word addiction? Hello? Have you heard the word addiction? Addiction കേട്ടിട്ടില്ലേ? I will rephrase the question. MDMA കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Hello? MDMA കേട്ടിട്ടില്ല? പച്ചക്കള്ളം. You should not talk so much lie, no? MDMA you have not heard. Of course you have heard. So that is something which gives you addiction. This addiction operates in the area called ventral tegmental area. Now the problem with this is, if a person is addicted to something, it could be as simple as tea or coffee. It could be as complicated as MDMA substances. Or it could be something like gaming. It could be something like binge watching web series. If it becomes addiction, that means physically you will be incapacitated if you don't get that. There will be a physical problem. So some people use the word addiction quite lightly. Addiction is not a light word. If you don't get that, you will start sweating, there will be palpitation, fast pulse, etc. Then it is addiction. Now, when this addiction increases, the brain area called this ventral tegmental area, which is responsible for addiction, also increases. So addiction takes away your capacity to do other things. So if a person is addicted, for example, that person will be less capable to learn a new language. That person will be less capable to understand calculus in mathematics. So whenever you are addicted, the best method is to stop it then and there, not wait for it. Because the more you wait, the brain area which controls addiction increases. Until now, there is no way to reduce it. So if you stop addiction after it has increased, that brain area will be damaged. Your addiction will stop, but you cannot regain that damaged brain area. So this is very important in the context of addiction, which is rampant with youth like you today. Have you heard the word neuroplasticity? Anybody? Neuroplasticity? This word and how it can be applied to neuroscientific studies or neurological patients was brought more to light because of this woman. Her name is Karen Pape. She was a neuroscientist. She was also a physical therapist. She was many things. So she was studying a boy who got an accident, who met with an accident involving his feet. So after the accident, whenever the boy was trying to walk, so we have a very advanced feet. It is very difficult to reproduce that feet. Those who are into robotics, they know it is a very advanced feet. So the ankle of our feet, it is so structured that it handles different amounts of pressure and different angular movements. So this boy after the accident, found difficulty in walking, but could run. There was no problem in running, but there was difficulty in walking. And so Karen Pape, with her other people, she helped the patient, and the patient was operated by orthopedic surgeons. And then the boy could actually, the cause for his not able to walk was removed. But even then, that boy could not walk. Whenever he wanted to walk, he used to feel tremendous pain, in medical language, debilitating pain. So he could not walk. So then Karen Pape studied this brain phenomena. The brain had stored the information that whenever you walk, there will be a problem. There is another thing. Do you know, we generally store bad memories more than good memories. That is nature's way of protecting us. Bad memories are stored, so nature is telling you, don't do this in the future. Similarly, that boy's bad memory of not being able to walk was stored. And brain is an organ which continues to grow and develop till you die. So this boy also was given what is now known as neuroplastic exercises. And then that boy was trained to understand there can be no reason that you cannot walk. And then he started to walk. In the Indian tradition, we have mantras, meditation. We have different kinds of training our mind. And that we can relate with this idea of neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity means your brain can develop itself at any age. It can learn. It can recover from injury. It can cope with changes around you. And so brain has this one capacity which is very much important today. It is called resilience, when you can come back from failure. So that is, how many of you sleep? How many of you sleep? How many hours do you sleep? Karthik, how many hours do you sleep? 8 hours. Oh. Then who else sleeps? You sleep how many hours? 6 hours. Anybody there? Yeah. Who is doing her hair like that? Yeah, you only. How many hours do you sleep? Get up, get up. How many hours do you sleep? You are sleeping right now? No? Sure? How many hours do you sleep in a day? 6 hours. So how many hours should a person sleep, madam? 8 hours. 7 to 8. Sit down. There is a lot of medicine or medical research on sleep, and that field itself is now called sleep medicine. And it says that an adult needs at least 7 to 8 hours sleep. So when we sleep, this is another fascinating thing which we find when we study the brain. Very fascinating. That our sleep has 4 stages. And we can study the brain of a person who is sleeping. There are different, so now many people have woken up because it is about sleep. So much of talking is happening there. So we can understand that when you are sleeping, your brain waves function differently. So there are basically 2 kinds of sleeps. One is NREM, non-rapid eye movement phase of sleep. Why is it called so? Because there your eye does not move. But when you are dreaming, your eye moves. So suppose Swamiji is sleeping and I am near him. Swamiji sleeps with his eyes closed. Some people sleep with his eyes open, their eyes open. I am near him. I can see him and tell him when he is dreaming or not. Because when he will dream, his eyeball will be moving. That is called rapid eye movement phase of dream. But there is something called non-rapid eye movement phase, which have 3 stages. And the 3rd stage is what we in Vedanta call Sushupti, which is deep sleep, where you don't have any cognitive abilities. You cannot learn anything. There is no motor abilities. You cannot do anything. Means consciously, you cannot move your hands or legs. Many people might have experienced a ghost dream where ghost is coming and trying to throttle your neck and you're unable to tell anything. That is precisely because your brain is not working there. You don't have any cognitive or motor skills there. So it is important that a person sleeps 7 to 8 hours, because both your body and your mind gets re-energized during that time. It is important that everybody dreams every day, because dreams are the psychological energizing of your mind. So many people say, Swamiji, I don't dream. That is because you are getting up in a cycle of deep sleep. So you don't remember your dream. Everybody dreams, and roughly if you sleep for 4 hours, half 2 hours will be dream and 2 hours will be sleep. So sleep has also helped us in understanding brain. There is another fascinating thing. How many of you have experienced this? You are yawning. You know what is yawning, right? You know or not? Yawning, Y-A-W-N, Kotu Y, Kotuva. You don't know? Hello? They are all yawning now. Hello? Give me a hello. Yes. So yawning, when you yawn in front of somebody, it is infectious. The other person also starts yawning. When you smile, suppose I am just standing here and smiling like this. No matter how much indigestion you have, you will also start smiling. Okay. Why? That is connected to something called mirror neurons. So when we were not human beings, when we were primates, when we were orangutan or chimpanzees, I'm not talking about those who behave like chimpanzees now also. I'm talking about those people who are human beings now, but we were actually orangutans. So in our brain, we had to constantly protect ourselves from predators, people who will hunt us, kill us. So that is why the master of the group during evening used to go out and see if there is any tiger or lion or any other predator, and then will come and, have you seen monkeys laughing? They actually laugh and come and laugh to the other monkeys. So they are all happy now and they will all sleep. So master of the herd or group will yawn, and the other monkeys also will yawn. They will all be asleep. So mirror neuron is our ability to replicate, imitate what the other person does, because that was meant to be a protection mechanism for the human beings. So anyway, we have seen the role of the cerebellum, the two things which were there below the brain, cerebellum, they are used for balance. So many people have problem with balance. So mostly they say it is because of some fluid in your ear, but it is also connected, or it is more connected to the cerebellum. And there is a disease called Alzheimer's. Have you heard about Alzheimer's? It's a very bad disease. It's a very horrible disease. One of the symptoms of Alzheimer's is the person loses idea of height. So if there was a severe Alzheimer patient, the patient will start walking like this and keep on walking after coming here also. So an Alzheimer's patient should never be left unattended near the balcony or something. So the person will be keeping on walking like that and fall. The person also loses the idea of sharpness. So can take the knife and do like this without understanding that it will cut her. So this is again brainstem. So there is another thing. You see, there is something called memory. You all know memory. In ancient traditions, in India, China, Japan, they were told to memorize things when they were young. Are you told to memorize things today also? Are you told? Memorize. Are you not taught in school to memorize? Hello? Are you taught or not? Memorizing. കാണാപ്പാടമാക്കുന്നത് കേട്ടിട്ടില്ല? എന്തെങ്കിലും പറ. തല മാത്രം അനക്കി അങ്ങനെ മനസ്സിലാവും. Yes or no? So that why memorizing in the ancient times, people were given memorization, and then that memorizing thing made it's called rote learning, R-O-T-E. That made these things go to the limbic brain. So even if the person forgot other things, that person would not forget this. So things like cycling, swimming, etc. are deep-seated in the limbic brain. Also spiritual practices like if you are counting the beads, japamala, they also go to the limbic brain. I have actually seen a patient who was very advanced in age, was on ventilator. He was on, what was he on? Ventilator, but he was doing his mala japa. So that had gone to his limbic brain. So that is where this, then there are these neurons. Whenever we have some kind of neurological activity, they happen because of transmission of electrical signals, and they happen through synapses. And basically, we have trillions of neurons and neurotransmitters. So this knowledge has helped us in many things, particularly in treating pain. So pain, we now know, is caused because of some neurotransmitters. So there are something called beta blockers or pain blocker medicines, which go and don't deal with anything else. Earlier, our approach to pain management was local. You have pain in some area, you put something there. Now it's all neurological. So you target the neurotransmitter, and then the pain will reduce or go away. So the earlier thing which I was talking about is called the limbic system, where you remember all these things. It goes to your long-term permanent memory, and there are emotional responses. Like suppose I were to take a snake, live snake. I showed you an actual brain, but suppose I were to take a live snake and throw at you like this. So there are some elderly people there, and they think their knees are not working, but they will all run fast like PT Usha. Okay, PT Usha stays in Kozhikode, by the way. So you will all run. Why? Because the idea that snakes are poisonous and that you have to protect your body is in your limbic brain. There is another very important part of our brain. It is called angular gyrus. So as you can see, it is there, both lobes, left and the right lobe. Why did I bring this? Many people might have heard about out of body travel, out of body experience. All this experience people experience. Only two kinds of people experience. One, those who are yogis or those who do spiritual practices, very rare. But most of the people who experience this is because of some problem in their angular gyrus. And so when there is a tumor or there is some accident, some underdevelopment, then you experience this. There is another person who has to be remembered now. His name was Per Paul Broca, and he was the first person to identify a place in brain which actually connects to something. Okay, I have 10 minutes more. I will finish it in 10 minutes. Thank you. So I was giving slips in the morning, and now I gave only to one person. No, now she is giving me slip. I gave it to Maharaj. It was not slip. I was telling CM will come in 15 minutes. So Broca was the first person to identify a particular brain area linked to a particular activity. And he identified that a particular brain area is responsible for learning of languages, remembering languages, etc. And that is when something called brain mapping started. So now we knew, oh, we could actually connect different areas of brain to different activities. Later on, we found a person, great person. His name was Wilder Penfield. And if you can see here, there is something called Broca area. This area of the brain, this is the left hemisphere or the left lobe. That area of the brain is called the Broca's area, which is responsible for language and how we use language, speech. Wilder Penfield added many other areas in our brain and identified them with different activities we do. Now, thanks to functional MRI, EEG, electroencephalogram, and all these technology, we have a much more nuanced, much more detailed brain map. But Wilder Penfield did not do only that. Wilder Penfield also took a patient, a volunteer, a normal human being without any abnormalities, and in the interpretive cortex put a voltage of 1/25th volt. How many volts? 1/25th volt. A microde was inserted. So when I'm talking to you, in my mind, something else thinking also is going on. We have two streams of consciousness. Consciousness means, when I'm using it in the sense of when we are talking, two streams, two channels of awareness. Is it not? When you're talking to somebody, you are also thinking something else also. How to talk or what to say next, etc. Wilder Penfield found out that when this electrode was put and 1/25th volt of electricity was passed, that person's awareness doubled. So that patient could talk to two people simultaneously at the same time, and think two things simultaneously. I don't know how many of you can even imagine that. Talking, for example, if I were to talk to Karthik and Swami Sarvalokananji at the same time, and also think parallelly two channels. So two channels becoming four channels. And that he wrote in the book called The Mystery of the Brain. Now, there are so many things our brain can understand. And now, because of technology, we are going closer and closer to understanding the brain. But even with all that, what we have understood is probably not even 1%. So I invite all of you to have more understanding of brain. If you cannot read textbooks, if you think they are complicated, at least read popular science books by Oliver Sacks or Robert Sapolsky or V.S. Ramachandran, people like that, and get a grasp of your brain, because at the end of the day, that is the organ you're going to use till you die. Sri Ramakrishna said, so long do I live, as long I live, so long do I learn. In Bengali, he said, Javat ba javat shiki. That means, as long I live, so long do I learn. It is actually a fact, whether you know it or not, you keep on learning till you die. So let us try to understand the brain's structure and function. Let us exploit it. Let us use it. And I appeal to you that instead of focusing more on artificial intelligence, let us focus more on natural intelligence. I thank Swami Moksha Vratanji for having given me the opportunity, and I thank all of you for this patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji, for that very interesting, lively, and attention-capturing session on the powerhouse of thoughts, emotions, and feelings. I am sure your words have certainly touched the brain and hearts of almost everyone here. May I now invite Swami Sarvalogananda ji to honor the eminent speaker with a memento.
എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ബ്രെയിനിന്റെ സ്ട്രക്ചറിനെ കുറിച്ചും ഫംഗ്ഷനെ കുറിച്ചും ബ്രെയിനിൽ ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന ചില അസുഖങ്ങൾ, അമ്നേഷ്യ, എപ്പിലെപ്സി പോലുള്ള അസുഖങ്ങളെ കുറിച്ചും അഡിക്ഷനെ കുറിച്ചും ഒക്കെ നമ്മുടെ സ്വാമിജി നല്ല രീതിയിൽ തന്നെയാണ് നമുക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു തന്നത്. സ്വാമിയെ ആദരിക്കുന്നതിനായി ഞാൻ സർവലോകാനന്ദ സ്വാമിജി നരസിംഹാനന്ദജി മഹാരാജിനെ പുരസ്കാരം നൽകി ആദരിച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്. താങ്ക് യു സ്വാമിജി.
Moving on to our next program, it's my pleasure to invite Swami Sarvalogananda ji to deliver the address. Swami Sarvalogananda ji is a senior monk of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission.
Om Asato Ma Sadagamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mityurma Amritagamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. We have been listening to very beautiful subject and very important organ of the human body, that is brain. When Maharaj was deliberating this important and wonderful subject, just I was thinking, he is more than neurophysician and neurosurgeon. way he was expressing as if he is taking class of the medical students. I did not know that Maharaj knows so much about the neuroscience. And all of you know this neuroscience is very complicated and wide subject. Even today, the neuroscientists are unable to reveal the mystery of this wonderful brain. To some extent, today, from Maharaj, we have come to know the function of the brain, anatomy and physiology of the brain. He was talking about the neurons. Millions and millions of neurons are there in the brain. But neuroscientists are unable to know the function of these innumerable neurons. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for your wonderful deliberation on this brain organ. Yesterday I was talking about the role of the nursing staff and the greatness of the nursing staff. Just I wanted to talk about the service we render in Ramakrishna Mission Institution. But just I was about to start, then Honorable Chief Minister arrived. I wanted to talk what is service. And particularly in our institutions, any institution of the educational or medical, service, we mean simply doing some work. And by doing work, we get some money to earn our livelihood. But according to Swami Vivekananda, service has different meaning. Whatever service we render in our institution, based on the principle of service to man is service to God propagated by Swami Vivekananda. When work becomes service, that you have to understand. We think that any work we do, this is service. No. When the great idea of sacrifice get connected with this work, that work becomes service, or according to Swami Vivekananda, the work becomes worship. It is for service or service sake. Don't expect a result of your action. Swami Sri Krishna has told in the Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have only right to work, but you have no right to fruit of your action. then you may raise question that how one can work without motive. It is quite true, but you have to understand the law of karma. If you do good work, you will get good result. If you do bad work, you will get bad result. The result you will get, nobody can stop it. No power on this earth can stop it. So it is better do work without any motive. You should not be attached to the fruit of your action. If you are attached to the fruit of your action, then you will end up in trouble. This all the time you will think, what result, what karma phala you will get. When you do not get the expected result of your action, then you get frustrated. The way you get frustrated, that you may commit suicide even. That is why Bhagavan Krishna told Arjuna, don't expect the result of your action. Just karmanyevadhikaraste. You have only right to work. Dear friends, you are nursing students and paramedical staffs are present here. You must work with this attitude. Money will get, there is no doubt about it. But we must do work with this attitude. Then we will not land up any kind of trouble. Dear friends, I like to tell you the story. Road was being constructed in the village. Many laborers were present and working the construction of the road. A gentleman just approaching and asked one of the laborers, what you are doing? He simply replied, just I am working to earn my livelihood and I will get some money. Then he approached the second laborer. He said, sir, according to the order of the contractor, I am doing this work and will earn some money. Then again that gentleman approached and asked the third laborer what you are doing. Just to see the attitude of this laborer, what he is telling. Well, sir, when road will be complete, many people will reach their destination by traveling on this road. And I am blessed, I am fortunate that I got the opportunity to serve the 1,000 people. Dear friends, this third laborer also get money. But the attitude of doing work is very important. What he replied, that I am blessed, fortunate for having this opportunity to serve the people, thousands of people. Dear friends, we must work with this attitude. Dear friends, all of you know that medical science has become a technology. Everything is done by machine, the treatment, the diagnosis. And with this technology, we find mind-boggling feats. We find that a lot of operations, transplantations, heart, liver, so on and so forth, the laser treatment, which were incredible 30 or 40 years ago. So technicalization of medicine has made wonder, has made miracle in the field of diagnosis and treatment. Dear friends, there are two aspects of medicine. You have to understand it. One is technical aspect of medicine, another is humanitarian aspect of medicine. Yes, we cannot deny the technology of the medical science, that is technicalization of medicine. But dear, frankly speaking, the technicalization of medicine has robbed off the humanitarian aspect of medicine. Dear friends, patients are after all the human being. Don't think they're the disorder machine. And as a human being, he or she is having some sentiment, some emotions. You must honor the sentiment and emotion of human beings who are coming to the hospital for treatment. Dear friends, the patient who comes to the hospital or dispensary or outdoor, what they want, what they expect from the healthcare providers. Healthcare providers, the doctor, nurses, paramedical staff, administration, they expect good behavior from the healthcare providers. First, dear friends, they want little human touch, human feeling, motherly, tender care. But the technicalization of medicine has taken away this human touch, human feeling, the tender, motherly, tender care. I like to tell you not the story, there is an incident. When I was Ramakrishna Mission Hardwar Kankal, at that time it was a small hospital. One fine morning, I came to know the richest person of Hardwar, his name still I remember, Ram Panjamanaji, is admitted in our hospital. I got surprised. The richest man of Hardwar, Ram Panjamanaji, is admitted in our hospital. He could have gone to Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or if necessary, he could have gone to the foreign countries, London, other places. But why he has admitted in our hospital? Out of curiosity, just I went to his cabin and asked Ram Panjamanaji, direct question, why you are admitted in our hospital? He could have gone to some other good place, 5-star hospital, high-tech hospital. Nowadays we say high-tech hospital. Swamiji, yes, I have a lot of money, I can go anywhere. I could have gone to anywhere. But why I have come to this place? Listen, Swamiji, in other hospital, high-tech hospital, I would have TV, this, that, fridge, wonderful interior, decoration and everything. But here, I may not get that. But here in your hospital, I am sure I will get the human touch, human feeling, motherly tender care. That is why I have come to your hospital for getting treatment. Dear friends, the time has come that there should be blending of these two aspects, technical aspect and humanitarian aspect. Synthesis up to this aspect. Then we can provide better health care to the patient. There is no doubt about it. Dear friends, nursing staff and paramedical staffs are sitting here. How much joy and satisfaction you get when a serious patient is admitted, and all the healthcare providers, they tried their best to cure the patient. When the patient gets recovery and try to go back to home, when yes, leave it, I recommend a minute. When what is called, when his smiling face, when he returns home, how much joy and satisfaction you get. The healthcare providers, wonderful satisfaction and joy you will get. Dear friends, so don't take your nursing profession as a profession. Take it as a service. And I should say it is a direct service to the patient, to the people. There are two kinds of service. There's a direct service and indirect service. And you all sitting here, you are giving direct service to the patient. There is no doubt about it. Another thing I'd like to tell you, and then wrap up my short speech, that you must understand why patients come to the hospital. To get relief. That you have to understand. And always you should try how to relieve the pain of the patient, suffering of the patient. Dear friends, the paramedical staff, nursing staff, all the healthcare providers, your duty is to serve the patient. Serve the patient. And if you serve the patient dedicatedly, with all dedication and devotion, surely and certainly, you will get the blessings of the Lord. There is no doubt about it. You will get blessings of the Lord. It's my personal experience, long experience, not my only personal experience, but the experience of many, many people, many healthcare providers. Dear friends, this hospital was established, I think, 88 years ago. Now, with the passage of long time, this hospital has grown up into a multidisciplinary hospital, one of the best hospital in this city, I think. How it has grown? It has grown because of your dedication and devotion, all the healthcare providers, the workers working here untiringly. Dear friends, we have to go long way. We should not be self-complacent. That now our hospital has become big. Nursing school already has come. There are now The College of Nursing building has come. Don't be complacent. We have to do many things to give, to provide the service to the patient at large. Dear friends, now I don't want to take much of your time. I pray to Holy Trio, Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sarada, and Swami Vivekananda, so that you can take this hospital more, what is called, take this hospital strength to strength, height of the excellence, so that people can tell Ramakrishna Ashram Hospital, Sasthamangalam, the Thiruvananthapuram, was the best hospital in this city. Thank you very much for addressing you. I wrap up my speech with the famous Vedic prayer, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya. Let all be healthy, let all be happy. Namaskar, Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Swamiji, for those words of wisdom. For the kind attention of our audience, the tea and refreshments will be served while you are seated. So please remain seated, and our next session will begin at 4:30 p.m.
ചായയും സ്നാക്സും ഇവിടെ തന്നെ കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നതായിരിക്കും. എല്ലാവരും അവിടെ അവരവരുടെ സീറ്റിൽ തന്നെ ഇരിക്കുക ദയവായി. 4:30 നമുക്ക് ഒരു മോഹിനിയാട്ടം പെർഫോമൻസും കൾച്ചറൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം, നമ്മുടെ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളുടെ ഡാൻസ് പ്രോഗ്രാമും ഉണ്ടാവുന്നതാണ്. സോ എല്ലാവരും അവിടെ തന്നെ ഇരിക്കുക. താങ്ക് യു.